every day I deal with rejection. Today I got rejected. I did an audition, I got rejected, and I'm fine with it.
So I was asking you, what's with the secrecy of announcing projects, right? Because the director usually is like, no, no, I'm waiting for the production house. The actors and the actresses are like, no, no, I'm waiting for the director. You know, why is this sort of a thing in cinema?
It's nothing like it's not very thought about, to be very honest. It's just something. It's a procedure that the industry has been following. It's basically like you do not. If you are an artist, if you are a painter, probably you wouldn't go show your work midway, right? You wait for your painting to get complete and then do the announcement, right? So that's where it comes from. So it's art we are creating. So we would wait until and unless we are at least halfway through and we know that the work is going to be coming out and would be in display. That's when we generally announce. That's all about it.
Do you get in trouble, by the way, if you drop any details about any projects that's going on? No.
No. It's so, just that the next time you ask me about it.
Yeah.
Pardon?
If you were to drop some details right now, you wouldn't be in trouble, would you?
No, I wouldn't be in trouble that way. It's just that the next time you will be having this conversation with me, you'll be like, what happened to that project? And then I will be in trouble because I wouldn't like to have that conversation.
So we'll just wait for the announcements from the production house. So like when you say you're busy, like how busy are you? Are you like shooting day and night busy, or like what's going on with your schedule?
So if I say a schedule as such, as an actor, I'm constantly working on myself, to be very honest, onto how can I betterment myself on each and every day. That's how I'm busy. I'm busy in creating myself, in making myself a better actor than what I was, maybe the last shot or the last scene or the last movie to the next. That's how I'm working on myself. That's how I'm busy. Other than that, there's a lot of work. Like we do, there's a lot of time and there's a lot of thought that goes behind a script when it comes to you. You read the script and you're processing the entire character and all of that. So this is how the time of an actor goes. And then we watch work. Okay, there's not a place that you can say that you go here and then the actor is done and there. So there's a lot of content you're watching. There's a lot of other work, like fellow actors who you are keen to know about how they are working and what they are working on. And so there's a lot of work that goes on behind before becoming an actor or when you're an actor. I think the end result is just a tiny little bit of it. You're seeing the tip of the iceberg, basically.
Is it like, so you would say that you're not specifically busy with acting alone, right? You're training a lot, you're researching a lot. That's how your schedule goes. Is it tougher for you now that you're not really inclined to one language or one industry, that you're working in multiple industries, so you have to keep up with the rhythm and the ways of every industry and their sensibilities?
It is difficult, I wouldn't deny it, because each industry has a different culture, work culture also, even the audience who we present the work to, both the cultures are very different. The way each of this industry processes a script, the treatment that is done to the script, and finally what comes out. It's very different. You see the cultural difference when you work in these industries. But it is beautiful. I mean, it's all cinema in so many different ways.
Right. Is there like any specific industry or specific language industry that you prefer, or at least they're usually easier to work with, or as compared to the rest of them?
To be really honest, I'm too early to say that, I would say. Because I did most of my work has been in Tamil industry. I recently, Clap was what I debuted with in Telugu. But again, the team was majorly from the Tamil industry. And then I recently debuted in Malayalam industry. So I've done very fewer work in the other industry to come to this conclusion to say that, oh yeah, I like this industry more than that. But I like it all. It's the whole process about it is, when between the action and the cut, that's where I live for. That's what I live for. So no matter which industry you're in, it's that few minutes or seconds that actually matters.
I mean, you've covered pretty much every South Indian industry out there. And is this a conscious decision on your part where you sort of want to put your foot in every place, or like has these been things like that came your way?
In the beginning, I was an accidental actor. I could clearly, like, it was the thing. But thereafter, yes, I have taken a conscious effort to put my hands and legs in all the possible industry that I can. It, it's me being greedy. I want to do it all. Um, you watch some cinema and you're like, oh damn, this is so amazing. Like, I want to do this. Why am I not here? Why am I not doing this? Then you go there and then you want to do that. And by the time you see something else, it's why to limit yourself is the thing, and especially when I want to probably do Bengali cinema also. I'm very attracted to Bengali cinema. They have some beautiful craftsmanship there. Gujarati, oh, it's beautiful again. So it's when you have so much variety in this country, why limit yourself to one industry? Why just stop it at one? You can do it all. So just go ahead and do it.
That's beautiful. But how do you become an accidental actress? Like how did that work? What's the story behind this?
Um, the story begins with I wasn't pursuing to be an actor. Um, I belong to a very basic middle class family where it's all about education. You get a job, you get married, you have kids. You go the routine. Somewhere in between, one person, one of like my dad's friend, was like, let's do a short film, and that person then wanted to do a movie. It all, you swing. That's how I just got swung, and that's where I went. And I was like in acting, and then you get it in that age of yours, those early 20s, and you're like, oh, the acting aspect. I mean, what's not fun about it? And being a classical dancer, I've always had that fun of being on stage. So it was like a bigger audience now, you crave it more. And that's your age, right? Basically, where you try out stuff more and you want to like do it all. Then suddenly a Tamil movie opportunity came up, Azhagu Kutti Chellam. That was my debut in Tamil with Anthony Charles. They contacted me via social media. All it was a total different way of coming up to me. And we were like, no, Tamil, we don't know anything about it. And I'm not a Tamilian basically. So how do you do this? How do you get there? You got there, you did that, and then, oh, this is nice. This is not bad. Okay. And then somebody from the set, referred you for something else. And then you go there. And then you're like, oh, this is nice too. So that's how I became an actor. But thereafter, once you're in it, then you start thinking about it, the thought starts, what is this art form all about, okay? And what is my role in this? How do I, uh, contribute to this entire art form? And that's where you develop. So for me, acting it wasn't something that as a child I sat there and I was like, oh, when I grow up, I'll be an actor. No, that was not my thought.
So how did life change for you before and after cinema? Like, oh, and how did you change as a person? Did you transform as a person? And how did life like change for you?
Can I be like dead honest? Nothing has changed. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Uh, I have I have not wanted to change. I think change is it's a concept that you have to willingly want. I still have my same set of friends. I still live at the same space. I do everything that I did probably even before I was an actor. Probably if I wasn't an actor also, I would be doing all of that I would be doing. So nothing has changed for me. So rather, it's been a part of me. It's just added on to this person that I am. It's like you can add one more badge to your shoulder. That's how it's been. That's it. I'm very. That's one of the reasons why I'm very satisfied with this profession is because it lets me be everything else also. I don't have to compromise in just being one person. So nothing has changed.
Somebody in the industry who is an acquaintance of mine, they were familiar with you and your work. And something very interesting that they told me was that she is a very compromising person in a good way, as in what they were telling me, and I'm not trying to throw anybody down over here. What they were telling me is usually actresses, they have a lot of specific inhibitions and they have a specific way of working and they're not very compromising in that way. Somebody was like, Krisha would do anything as long as the film is good and her role is good. And is this something that you consciously do? Is this a strategic career move, or is this who you naturally are?
Firstly, thank you to whoever has said that. It feels good to know that you have been appreciated and your work, what you do is being noticed. You feel seen. So I'm really grateful to that person whoever said that. And secondly, for me, when how do you say that? In Tamil, you say veritanola. Like you have that when you want to do something, you don't think. You don't think. You're like, let's do it. Appuram paathukalam. That attitude somehow gets into you when you love your job or when you let's just go ahead, do it. Let's do what the cinema requires. Let's go all out and let's see where it all comes at. So that's where it comes at that moment, at that point. Other than that, it's not something that I think like, oh, I am going to be doing this or this. But the one major aspect that I'm constantly thinking of is to create least trouble. You know, uh, I do not like when creativity is stopped because it's not something, how much ever I don't think creativity can be planned. It's a big deal that in cinema there's still a process, we go through. But at that instinct, at that moment, sometimes something, the director or the DOP or somebody comes up with this very unique idea or very this thing where it's like, இதுதான் பண்ணா கரெக்டா இருக்கும், like that one thing comes. And that time you can't be the one standing there and be like, no, I'm not doing it. That's not what teamwork is all about. So you do it. That's what I like to be on this side. I'm not on the other side. We are on one side. We show the audience what we can do, not like you, I, and it's us versus them. So that's where it comes from.
That is amazing. That's just beautiful. Like what I heard. What that did you grow up a movie buff? Like did you grow up like loving cinema?
Honestly, no. My dad used to go for a lot of theater. It was more of stage plays that I was exposed to as a child. So with that, I used to go for Marathi plays and Gujarati plays. Being in Bombay, like this was where he was leaning towards. So I've gone a lot for that. Cinema was like once in a blue moon we used to go to the theater, and I was all excited about the popcorn, to be very honest. Popcorn wasn't this as available, so I was like, let's eat popcorn, let's have fun. That was the whole idea about cinema. But it all changed once I got into the industry, because up until then, as a common person, I did not know the trouble that goes into making a single film. Once you are working for it, you actually realize that it's it's not just to just sit and watch and eat. Like, yeah, it is fun, it's entertainment, but there's a lot that goes behind it. There's months and years probably a person is striving to get that particular 2 hours in front of you. So, as a child, no, cinema was not my thing. But off late, yes, I, I try to watch as much as I can, because still I wouldn't, it's not like I can sit at one place and watch a cinema. I'm a little hyper in that case. So I would force myself to watch it because that's where I learn from. Because I think it's my encyclopedia. So I just watch it for that.
So what about cinema shocked you? Because you were completely an alien to the world of cinema. And then sort of when you were thrown in here, what about it other than, being part of the making process? Like, were there some things that like, just blew you away or like really shocked you, or was really surprising to you?
Everything. Day one was like, um, oh, this much it is. Oh my God. Like, I never knew cinema, to be very honest. A scene was calculated in seconds and, shots, and you do have no idea. You're blank. You read that, you feel the entire movie is taken. When you're watching a movie, it's one story for you. Na? You have no idea about the stitching that takes place of a scene and, all of that, the technical aspects of it. Initially, it was just the breakdown of a scene that shocked me. When I had to stop and start crying when they say cut, you have to stop crying, and then again the camera angle changes and you have to cry again. So that was completely new for me to begin with. Later on, how much technicality goes, like for lighting or for costumes and art and all that takes place. It's like a pot of food, like it's a mixed pot. You have to put it all to get that final product. When you watch cinema, you actually do not think that much. Now, when I watch cinema, it's a total different outlook for me. I know that when I see a scene, I know it's difficult. I know that was hard work there. There's a special mention in your head that you do for the person who did that. So, yeah.
What's your process as an actor? Like, are you somebody, for example, when you mentioned when you had start and stop crying, are you somebody that can cry on command and then stop and then snap in and out of it, or do you have to be in character? Like, what's your process as an actor?
To be very honest, I can snap in and snap out. I didn't know that myself. I realized it eventually, which I really liked. And I want to treasure it. I try to not overthink it. Not overthinking is one of the most difficult part an actor can do, I feel. But other than that, I try to listen to the director because I think the cinema is made only once, but the director has seen it already 1,000 times in his or her mind. So I'm going to portray it only once out of the 1,000 visions he or she has already had. So if you listen keenly, you can actually,
Sorry about that. All good?
yeah, you can actually give it your best. So it's all about first step of acting is being a good listener. So yeah.
Has cinema like sort of helped you partly discover yourself and become a better person as well by how you're saying it?
To be honest, I do not know that. I haven't given that much a thought. But I don't think I'm a bad person. So I think it's done fine itself.
Awesome. Look, were there any like moments where you had to deal with loss or rejection or failures, and in your short career, how do you deal with them so far?
Oh, every day, every day I deal with rejection. Today I got rejected. I did an audition, I got rejected, and I'm fine with it. Probably like it's like two sides of the same coin. Accept both of it. And somewhere you come to this realization that everything is not made for you. What is made for you will come for you, right? Every dress out there does not fit you. Like every shoe out there does not fit you. Every role does not fit you, and it's fine. That's the understanding towards it. So that's it. It's okay. You deal with it. Initially, the first few ones hit you hard. You question. You go down this road. You question yourself as an actor. You question. Are you in the right path? And are you like, what is it that I can do to betterment yourself? But eventually, you get to a space knowing that it's not meant for you. That's it. And move on. What next?
Has there been sort of a day or a time period in which you're finding it really difficult to be on set and everything was very challenging? Would there be a story that you could share with us?
Um, in every character that I have played, I've gone through a graph. From When you enter, you are with this over excitement, and then suddenly it dips, and then you grow. You grow with the character. Every character that I have played, as like my recent work, Rachel, that I played in B32 Muthal Nampatnal, which was also my Malayalam play. I know like the acting in Malayalam cinema was totally different to what kind of acting that I have been exposed to before. So this was a total new way of working. And Shruti Chechi, the director, and how we got with Rachel was another beautiful arc in itself. Um, it was very new for me, the whole process of getting to Rachel. And I have had my difficult times, after every shot when I thought I didn't do good enough, I've faced it. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not getting Rachel out of me? Where is this going? Eventually, maybe a day or two, it sometimes does take for us to reach there. And then suddenly you reach there, and once you find that space, you're floating. You're in a good space. You know, then that character is stuck. Like it's like a backpack. Wherever you go, she comes along. So up until then, the whole process of reaching up till there is difficult, and that it's only your willpower that takes you further. Otherwise, you will lose it on day one, and you'll be like, I ain't doing this. You wrap it up and you move on. But yeah, that's where you have to have faith in the person who's on the other side of the camera. If they can see it, then you have to shut your mouth up. You have to not overthink it.
Do you have any experience in public speaking? By the way, you're really good at putting things together and putting things into perspective. You're helping me understand and learn a lot about cinema.
Okay, no, I have no experience, but yeah, I would like to do it someday. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah, then you can have that as another badge on you in addition to cinema.
It's a long way. It's not anywhere, but yes, definitely somewhere down the way.
So, what's future plans for you? Where do you see yourself 1, 2, and 5 years from now?
It's a very difficult question. I think this is one of the questions I never went for a 9 to 5 job. Probably this was to be asked at the end of every interview. I know that they ask, where do you see yourself from 5 years from now? Probably this is the question that I was escaping all my life. You can't be asking me this. I see myself, I don't know where. It could be either way. It could be anywhere. Probably I would have been done exploring all the industries that I have, and I don't know, buy an island and live somewhere, or else I may be, I don't know, having my own production house, but definitely sure into some kind of creative process. Yes, that is something that I can be very, very sure about, that I would be creating something somewhere. It's all about, for me, it's about creating magic. So in whatever form it feels for me at that moment in my life, I would be doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, so there is another question that I usually ask all of my guests. And most of them usually duck the question and they're like, oh no, who am I to say this? Or who am I to give advice or whatever? But what are suggestions, recommendations, or advice for young men and women like yourself who are looking to plunge into cinema or looking to pursue a career in cinema?
Very honestly, be yourself. That's rule number one for me. Do not look into another one's plate and think that, oh, there's so much there, oh, there's so less there. Concentrate on yourself. That's enough. Whoever is getting into cinema, he, she, they, them, whomsoever, just be yourself. Then, cinema. If cinema has come to you, probably a figure like you is lacking. That is why it's come to you. Do not try to be somebody else to fit in. You are wholesome. And you need to remind yourself every day that physically, emotionally, mentally, you fit in and you're fine. So the day you lose that, the day you let somebody else's opinion dictate your journey, you'll lose it in cinema.
Has being yourself worked out negatively for you somewhere? Like, have you been rejected because of this? Have you made enemies? because of this?
Honestly, enmity is not something that I like. I'm not easy to be somebody's enemy. Right.
Right, I can
I'm
tell,
not.
honestly. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not.
yeah.
That's not the person I am. Forget about cinema or whatever career life I choose or I am in. It's not the person I am. And have I lost opportunities? Probably yes. But I've not gone around asking for the reason why I've lost an opportunity and what can I. If I've lost an opportunity, a no is a no. You know, like if somebody tells you a no, I don't ask why. Until and unless I know that I must have done something drastically wrong. So, yeah, I must have lost that. I'm a flawed person after all. So I must have lost it due to my flaws, but I'm okay with it.
Do you have any regrets, or rather, do you look back at some of your moves and feel like, oh, maybe I should have done something different?
You know, the other day I was thinking about this. As an artist, one of my biggest fear is not liking my own work. I've come to know that, and honestly, I've never liked what I've worked on. Somehow, by the time I have worked on it, and by the time it's come out, and by the time I've watched it, I've been so self-critical that it's very hard for me to like my own work. So maybe that's somewhere a plus also. That's what is keeping me going. That's what is making me want to do something that works for me. But I don't regret anything. I do not regret. I know what headspace I did, what in each scene I see in the screen. I know what my thought was. I remember the person there. I remember the Krisha there that did that. So I do not regret her. I embrace her. But yeah, I always feel that you are self-critical. I mean, you are that. I am that. I'm completely that. And I'm glad I'm that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have able to differentiate each work of mine. Had I been stuck onto saying that, oh, this is perfect, I remain like this. That's not how it works.
Awesome. I mean, this session has been honestly very insightful and, really eye-opening for me. Before we go out, has there been anything that I've missed? Is there anything else that you have to bring up or say to the audience?
Nothing, just hang in there, watch good work, support good cinema. Like that's one of my major things. There are so many cinemas out there that do not get as much reach, but they're really good work. They're really out there. You know, they just need some support from you guys to watch it and actually appreciate them. So that's it. Just we are here to entertain you. Just relax and have fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, and thanks to
Thank
everybody
you.
that's watching
Thanks a
us
lot.
for joining us. Please do follow Krisha and keep up with her work. She's doing some amazing work and apparently some secret projects that she has coming up. So make sure to keep up with her and keep up with us as well. Thank you so much for your time, Krisha, all the way from
Thank you
Mumbai
for having
today.
me, and hope to see you someday in person and have a much more longer interview in a much more like better way. I'm doing public speaking. Let me start with your platform.
Awesome. That sounds like a plan. We'll hold you to that.
Nice
All right.
meeting you
Likewise.
online, and hope to see you in person someday. Bye bye.
Bye. Take care. Good night.
Bye bye. Thank you.